Okay, in this video then we're going to look at percentages, something that may or may not have troubled you since you left school, but really when we start to look at them I hope this video will take away any of the mysteries involved with them. What percentages really are, well, they are a simple fraction. Let's just write that down. They are a simple fraction where the denominator, and that's the number underneath the line, denominator is always 100. So we don't write it because we know that the denominator is always going to be 100. So this means then that 10% equals 10 over 100, and 3% equals 3 over 100, and 25% equals 25 over 100. So really they're a short way, or maybe a strange way, of writing a set fraction where the denominator is always 100. Now of course, using percentages, let's just try this. Right, a simple example then. 10% of £2. Okay, well, to begin with I'm going to write that £2 as 200 pennies. So I'm saying £2 equals 200 pennies. You'll see why in a minute. The 10%, well, I'm going to write that as 10 over 100 because that's what it is. Now this word of, when you see it written in maths, you always replace this word of with a multiplication sign. So it's 10 over 100 times 200. And I'm sure you'll see that the noughts will cancel out. At least I hope you can see that they cancel out. But this is what happens. That will cancel with that, and that will cancel with that. And therefore you're left with 10 times 2. So it equals 10 times 2 equals 20 pence. So 10% of £2 is 20 pence. Right, so let's go through another example then. £25 of £3.20. Okay. Well, I'm going to write £3.20 as 320 pence. Okay, and what we've got here, we've got 25 over 100. Replace it off with the multiplication sign, and it's times 320. I'm just going to put a decimal point in there because it means the same thing, right? But I'm going to move the decimal point now when I simplify, or when I cancel out. And that means what I'm going to do, when I get rid of that one, I have to move this decimal point one place to the left. And when I get rid of that one, I move it one more place to the left. And I'm left with 3.2. So now then, it equals this. Let's just go back to black. It equals 25 times 3.2, which of course you can do in your calculator, but I'll do it using long multiplication because it's fairly straightforward and if you don't ever see long multiplication, you won't know what it is. But all I do now then is the 2 times the 5 is 10, 0 and 1 to carry over. 2 times the 2 is 4 and 1 is 5. That's okay. Move across now because I moved to this one. 3 times the 5 is 15. 5 and 1 left over. 3 times 2 is 6 and 1 is 7. Okay. No more to multiply with, so draw a line underneath it. Add these together. 0 and 0 is 0. 5 and 5 is 10. 1 and 7 is 8. Okay. Now you've got one number after the decimal point. So you put the decimal point there. One number after the decimal point. And then to me, it equals 80p. So 25% of £3.20 is 80p. And really, again, if you think about it, 25 of 100 is a quarter, and a quarter of £3.20 is 80p, or a quarter of 320 is 80p. Okay, so I'll just do one more example then. So let's just go through another example. 3% of 10. Well, that's 3 over 100 times 10. Again, I'll put this decimal point there. And again, what I'm going to do when I cancel out, I'm going to move the decimal point. So with that one, I move it 1. And with that one, I move it another 1. Always to left when you're dividing. Okay, so now then we've got this. Go back to blank. 3 times 0.1. Well, there's no number in front of my point, so just write the 0 in to be sure. Okay, so it's 3 times 0.1, and that of course is 0.3. So 3% of 10 is 0.3. Okay, so I hope then I've taken away some of the mystique of percentages. They are just fractions. Okay, where the denominator, that's a number underneath the line, is always going to be 100. So n% of m, or a percentage of something, is the number over 100 times the something. Okay. Now, of course, to do percentages in this way, you have to use pen and paper. I hate anybody who forces people to do mental maths, because there's nothing more certain to turn off a young person from maths by saying you've got 20 seconds to answer these 5 questions. Okay, they're just going to go blank and forget it and not worry about it, and that will frighten people off maths forever. Well, really, maths is always done on paper. Never ever do maths in your head. I mean, obviously you can with a lot of practice, but so what? It means nothing. The sort of maths that we're going to go through in this course, you'd never do that on paper, in your head, so you always do it on paper. So I say, when you talk about percentages, get a scrap of paper, scribble it down like this: n over 100 times m, so n percentage of m. Okay, 3% of 10 is 3 over 100 times 10. Solved, finished with. Okay, so I hope you've understood what I'm trying to show you with percentages, and that you've taken something from this video. If you like it, I'd like to see you on my website, which is hubertstudyroom.com, where you'll find a whole range of videos on a whole range of subjects and mathematics and engineering, to help you with your studies that you might be going through, or just help you learn about basic maths that you need. Okay, so thanks for watching this video. I hope you've found it useful, and I hope to see you in my website. Thanks again.